Check out what I got today, guys. The new Blade 270, or the new Fusion 270. This is one sweet heli. Check that out. I can't wait to show you guys this heli. But today, what I'm focusing on is basically what I do when I get a heli from Blade is setting up the helicopter per the manual on my new iX12 right here radio. Um, and the reason I do default manual setup when I first get these helis, even though I typically fly with a more aggressive setting, is just so I can understand what it feels like, as the manual states, right? So I fly on those settings for a couple of packs just so I get a feel for it, and then proceed to tune it to my liking. But anyways, seeing that the iX12 now has so many capabilities, and that's one of this is I'm live streaming it to my big screen right here. I thought it'd be cool to create a video just so you guys could see how the model is set up, as well as how it gets set, or how you add a model on the iX12. I'll also show or discuss the settings for the 270, which lets it enable rescue mode. Um, so that's done through a mixing on the radio. With that, let's get to it. Okay, so we will start by creating a new model. And here, basically select this right side, add a new model, and we'll do a default helicopter. And there's going to be times that I will forward this and just move fast. The video you'll see will just go through a little bit faster, just so you guys don't sit here and wait while I try to navigate the menus and try to figure things out. So I'll do that on purpose when I do the editing. So anyways, the new model is created here. I press here. I basically edit the name, and just so we're fast, I'm going to just put 270 for now. And I'm going to go ahead and install a picture, which I downloaded using the browser of the iX12. Just connected it to Wi-Fi, opened a browser, did a Google search for Blade 270, and downloaded that picture. So anyways, here's our base model with basically a default setting from the radio. And what the manual is asking for is we go ahead and set up the swash type, which will be model set up here on the bottom in the middle there. And we'll scroll to the bottom, and it says here Swashplate Type, and it turns off the RF. And the manual is asking for normal, which by default, that's how Spektrum radio set it up. It's normal, so that's fine. We'll go back. The next one is flight mode setup, which is the second box right here. And switch 1 is B, so that's the upper left on the radio that if you're familiar with it, it's B. Switch 2 is inhibit, which is inhibited, and then hold switch is H. So what I'll do is I'll select hold switch, and then it lets you pick, but all you have to do is move the switch on the radio, and there it recognizes it's H, and that's it. Okay, the next one is channel assign, and the only thing that it's asking us to do is basically inhibit the gear channel, which by default here shows it is assigned to switch D. So we'll change that and just say inhibit. That's it. And then also shows frame rate. We're going to be choosing 11 milliseconds. And we'll leave the mode on auto because it just detects auto or DSMX. That's all we need right there. Okay, from there, Now we move on to the actual model setup. So the radio, or the 270, actually doesn't require any changes from default, as it states, 100, 100 for the travel of all the surfaces, the throttle, aileron, elevator, they're all at 100, and that's what the manual is asking for. No channels also need to be reversed. Everything is normal. So nothing to change there. The next one is dual rates and expo. And this one on the manual lets you set up different dual rates and expo depending on an assigned switch. So you could do that. But I think many people here are already familiar with dual rates and expo. If you want, kind of a slower heli, you can go ahead and change the dual rates right here. You can lower that, and the heli will what is this? This is on aileron. Will actually rotate slower on the aileron axis. You can have expo here, and I typically fly with about 15 expo. But in this case, like I said, I will be flying it based on what the manual is recommending. So I'm just going to choose basically 100 with no expo. So that's how it comes on the radio. I'm not going to make changes and just fly it the way it is. Next one is gyro. So here in the gyro settings, we are going to be assigning it to the flight mode switch. So I hit the switch on the right, hit our flight mode right there, and it gives you different gyro settings per switch position. So on the manual it says hold is 85%. I'll drag it over, and then we can fine tune it. So that's what we have. Each flight mode has a different gain value for the tail gyro and channels gear. And if you hit flight mode switches right now, you can see the gyro on the left. Let me point it here, right here, change. So from normal, it's showing 85. On stunt 1, it says 78. Stunt 2. And stunt 2, 65. So you can see that's why we have the values displayed on the left. It really helps when you're doing setups. Stunt 1, normal. Okay, so that's done. Gyro setup is done. And then now we go to setting up the rescue, which is done by putting in a mix. Right here, mixing. And that is, and I'll show you guys how this works and kind of explain why it was done this way. We'll go mix type, normal, and it is gear to gyro, and then the rate. This one's gonna go to 100. This one's supposed to be 0, sorry. Reset that. This is 125. Hit OK. 125, 0, then offset negative 100. Negative 100. Okay, and then we assign that to a switch, which is going to be the bind button. press the switch, which is I. Assign it when it's pressed. Okay. So, just so you guys see how it works, we're on gyro right here, and it's 85 right now. And let's say you're flying along in normal mode, and you hit the panic button. This mix, what it does, it'll push the value to 150 right there. So that 150 is basically engaging rescue mode for the 270. Okay. So that's it for the mixing. Now, let me just get to that point. As I said on the gyro screen right here, which is the fifth on your left, when you press the rescue, you see it go all the way to the top and give you 150. Why do you think, Blade puts it on the gyro channel instead of just a separate channel is because it lets kind of the lower end or the more of entry level radios be able to activate this. So if you have a DX6 radio or one of those non-digital radios, one way of at least having the rescue mode work without you adding an additional channel is just basically using the same channel and then just using the values, right? So it's kind of an efficient way of just getting through, getting a function in without really requiring a whole separate channel. Yeah, the mix is kind of a little bit of a hassle to add, but I mean, in the end, you only do it once, right? So I think it's a pretty good implementation, and you'll see how it works on the helicopter once we bind it. Okay, so the next one we do is Throttle Curve. Let's see that. I'm in the wrong menu right here. Throttle Curve, since this heli has a governor, normal mode requires you set up a 0 for 0 throttle, and then to enable the normal mode, the first head speed, basically, you put a value of 45 right basically across. Okay, 45 there. So that's your normal mode throttle curve. So when you have the stick is on the bottom, your throttle stick, it is off, and then when you raise it, it activates the first head speed for normal mode. And then we go now to stunt one. Stunt one. To activate the second head speed, you would be running 65. Timer start. All the way across. And then we'll go stunt two for the third head speed, and that is going to be 75 all the way across. Okay, so this is normal mode. Stunt one. Stunt one. Stunt two. Stunt two, and hold. Timer stop. All right. Throttle curve. And then now we go to pitch curve. So for pitch curve, the only thing we'll be changing is basically on hold, which first part is 25. Number 2 is 37. Okay, so that's it for hold. Normal mode is the same, 25. Okay. And then idle 1 stays the same. So what this is basically doing is on normal mode, when you land, it doesn't give so much of a negative pitch with the motor shutting off at the same time. So basically on normal mode, right, when you lower your throttle stick, the motor also stops. And if you have it at 0, the blades will go to a more negative pitch, making the blade stop even more aggressive, right? So if you like to come in, let's say on hold, flying in, and you hover maybe a foot off the ground and you hit the hold button, and then you typically are wanting to lower the throttle to kind of bring down the heli. The heli is a little bit more unpredictable when you have it at 0 and the motor stopping at the same time. You got two variables basically. You got the motor slowing down and you got a lot of pitch coming in. So this setup for hold and normal just makes that a little bit less harsh when you're going down. It makes it a smoother transition. And as you get over half mid stick, right here, it's all the same for all modes. So from as you see, from normal, stunt 1, stunt 2, right? Everything is the same mid stick and up, and you only have that variation when you are basically on normal mode. Okay guys, so here we got the Blade 270, and here I got one of my FPB Quad Racers batteries, which is a 4S1350. It's loosely tied here, and as you guys see, this is the batteries mostly for quad racing. We use the XT60 connectors. However, Blade makes, you can buy this from Horizon, not Blade, Horizon sells these adapters, so EC3 to XT60. Since I have so many FPV batteries, this is a great option to just use them on the heli. Alright, so I'm going to put the bind plug here on the end, plug in the model, and there we have it flashing ready. So here all I have to do is hit the bind and then hold that button.
Binding. Bind complete. PSMX 11 milliseconds. Telemetry.
There you go. So now the model's bound. I'll take the bind button out. So we're gonna go ahead and test the movements. You got positive, negative. That's working. Right, left. That's working. Back, forth. And then the tail. Right, left, up. That's working. All right. And then to test our rescue. So here I got the throttle, or sorry, the pitch set down. I hit the rescue button. There it goes. See the swash going up? So what that would look like is, let's say the heli is tilted right here. The moment you press it, you should see it counter, and then as you level the heli, put pitch up. See? That's it. Hold down and then going up. Let me do that again. So I'll tilt the heli. Get closer so the swash is tilted. I'm gonna press the rescue button. See, it's correcting the heli. And then when it gets up to level, it goes, adds the pitch. All right, so it looks like the heli is good to go. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And so this weekend I'll be flying this heli and taking more videos, and we'll be posting that up shortly.